Okay, for lesson 4, we'll close terminal down to start again. So terminal sudo su. We'll do a couple of things today. We're going to rename the host, and then we're going to create users. Renaming the host means that renaming it from Neil virtual machine to something else. So if I do host name, it says it's Neil virtual machine there. If I do host name, call it web server, and hit enter, and then do host name again, it shows it's web server. So I've renamed the virtual machine from Neil virtual machine to web server. But it still shows as that because I'm still in it. If I close my terminal down, open terminal again, you'll see I'm down as web server. Sudo su, otherwise I'm not going to be able to install things. Okay, so that I'm into it. So I've renamed the host. Very quick, very easy. That's just how you rename it. Web server. It's just host name and the name you want. The next thing that I said we would look at is creating users. So if I just for a moment go to the graphical user interface and I type in users, it opens up one. I can unlock it with my password, but it opens up a very basic package. All I can do is rename, well, that's all I can do is change my password, change it to automatic login. That's about it. There is nothing else I can do. So I can't create groups and I can't create more users. I can add a user, but I can't create much more than that. So I could create a user, but I can't create any groups. So I want more. I want to be able to install more. So if I do users-admin, it says not found, but can be installed with apt install GNOME system tools. So that's basically saying install a better package. So if I do apt install GNOME-system tools, again it'll go along and download. I forgot to type in -y, so my fault. I typed in apt install, I didn't type -y. So it's asking me, it's asking me questions now. Yes. Hopefully it's just the one, maybe 2 or 3, who knows. One by the looks of it, and it's done. So I've now installed users admin, and if I hit users admin there, and I click this, it'll open up this screen. It's been a bit slow for some reason. I'm going to close that. And I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go to here and I'm going to type in users on this screen. And you can see I've got users and groups now. Before I just had users. Now I've got users and groups. I don't know why that is doing that, but we'll leave it alone. We'll ignore it. Put it out of sight. So I've got Neil. I can go to advanced settings. I can type in my password, and I can do a lot more, but I don't need to. So account type is custom. It's the root. I could change it to administrator. I won't. So if I want to create a new user, let's call it web person or web user. Web user. And click OK. And I just created a user. Simple as that. So that's web user. So that's the user made. If I click account type, and I'll change it to administrator. There could be a desktop user if they only want basic rights, or administrator. I've changed it to administrator. I click OK. And I've done that. So that's how you create new users. As simple as that. Add a user. Manage groups. I can do add. So if I call it web developers, so web devs, the web developers group, and I click OK, I've now got a group called web devs, and I got some users there as well. So if I go to manage groups and I was to pick web devs, it shows me users. I can click web user, I click OK, and I can click close. And now web user is part of the web developers groups. Because if I went to manage groups and I double click it, you see he's ticked there. If I used to create another user, they'd appear and I'd have to add them to a group. So that's the web. That's how you create users and administrators. We can test it. It's crashed, so hopefully that will just close. That it didn't like what I did there, but we don't have to worry about that. If I open the terminal, what I'll do, I've just made a web user. So if I open up Putty again, so let me just go to my other screen, open up Putty. If I type in IPA, my IP address was, I don't need sudo user, that's why I haven't clicked it. So I click that, I do 192.168.145.130.422. It'll open up the login screen. Web user was the person I created, and the password, the one I've been using all along. And you'll see that I'm up and running, and I'm in the I've basically telnetted onto my machine. So if I type in UFW status, it says I need to be root or something like that. So if I do sudo su, and then I put in the password, and now I do UFW status, it shows me. So I had to be logged in as sudo. So I've logged in as a web administrator, and I can see the rules I made where I denied 56. So that's basically how we install the extra tools to create users and groups, and to telnet across and test one. I hope you found that lesson useful. Thank you very much.